Hello students, welcome to another video of Total English. In this video, we are going to learn a story and the name is Grandpa Tickles a Tiger. Before starting the story, you should know what does the word tickles mean. Tickles mean to make somebody laugh like this. So, you know that tigers are how dangerous. So, it's so difficult for a man to tickle such a dangerous animal. But Grandpa does it very easily. So, how he does it and what is the story? Let us know. Let us start the video. So, students, Grandpa Tickles a Tiger is a story written by Ruskin Bond. And before that, there is a short poem written by William Blake on similar topic, that is tiger. So, let's read it. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? So here the poet is talking about the beauty of tiger, that how beautiful it looks when it walks into the jungle in the night, and what immortal hand or eye. It means the immortal hand or eye is represented to God, who has created such a beautiful animal, that is tiger. Now let us begin the story. One day, strolling down a forest path, Grandfather discovered a tiger cub about 18 inches long, hiding among the intricate roots of a banyan tree. Grandfather picked him up and brought him home. So, Grandfather saw a tiger cub who was so small and he was just 18 inches long and he was near the banyan tree. So, he picked him up and brought him home. The tiger cub, who was named Timothy by grandmother, was brought up entirely on milk given to him in a feeding bottle by our cook Mahmood. So the narrator here describes the story and he tells that their cook, whose name was Mahmood, he used to give milk to the tiger cub. Timothy was provided with two companions, Toto the monkey, who was bold enough to pull the young tiger by the tail and then climb up the curtains if Timothy lost his temper, and a small mongrel puppy found on the road by grandfather. So there were two other animals there. One was monkey, whose name was Toto, and another was a small mongrel puppy. So they used to play together. At first, Timothy appeared to be quite afraid of the puppy. It means he was quite afraid, he used to fear, and darted back with a spring if it came too near. So he used to go back whenever he saw that puppy. He would make absurd dashes as at it with his large forepaws and then retreat to a ridiculously safe distance. Finally, he allowed the puppy to crawl onto his back and rest there. So earlier he hesitated to make them friend, but finally they were friends. One of Timothy's favorite amusements was to stalk anyone who would play with him. So when I came to live with grandfather, I became one of the tiger's favorites. With a crafty look in his glittering eyes and his body crouching, he would creep closer and closer to me, suddenly make a dash for my feet, rolling over on his back and kicking with delight and pretending to bite my ankles. So the narrator is basically a small kid who is the grandson of this old man. He tells that when he went to live with his grandfather, he became one of the best friends of the tiger. He was by this time the size of a full grown retriever, and when I took him out for walks, people on the road would give us a wide berth. When he pulled hard on his chain, I had difficulty in keeping up with him. His favorite place in the house was the drawing room. So you can see in the photograph also that the narrator, who is a small kid, is out for a walk with the tiger, and you can see that other people are trying to maintain a safe distance from the tiger because it has now a grown up tiger. You can see the size has become very big. So as the tiger grew up, his behavior also changed. He would make himself comfortable in the long sofa, reclining there with great dignity, and snarling at anybody who tried to get him off. Timothy had clean habits and would scrub his face with his paws exactly like a cat. You might have seen cats doing like that. He slept at night in the cook's quarters. Cook's name was Mahmud, already mentioned in the story, and was always delighted at being let out by him in the morning. One of these days declared grandmother in her prophetic manner, "We are going to find Timothy sitting on Mahmud's bed, and no sign of the cook except his clothes and shoes." It means they were very much surprised by finding that Mahmud was not there, just his clothes and shoes were there, and Timothy was sitting on Mahmud's bed. So it was a kind of unusual behavior. Of course, it never came to that, but when Timothy was about 6 months old, a change came over him. He steadily grew less friendly. When out for a walk with me, he would try to steal away to stalk a rat or someone's pet Pekingese. Pekingese is a breed of dog. Sometimes at night we would hear frenzied cackling from the poultry house, and in the morning there would be feathers lying all over the veranda. So it was just showing his natural behavior. It means you know that tigers are carnivorous, they like to have flesh. So his eyes were on other animals always. Timothy had to be chained up more often, and finally, when he began to stalk Mahmud about the house with what looked like villainous intent, grandfather decided it was time to transfer him to a zoo because it was not safe to keep him at home. Grandfather took him to Lucknow, where the zoo authorities were only too glad to receive as a gift a well fed and fairly civilized tiger. So he was transferred to the zoo at Lucknow. About 6 months later, when grandparents were visiting the relatives in Lucknow, grandfather took the opportunity of calling at the zoo to see how Timothy was getting on. So basically, the grandfather wanted to see him. I was not there to accompany him, but I heard all about it when he returned to Dehradun. Actually, the narrator was not present there, but he heard it. Arriving at the zoo, grandfather made straight for the particular cage in which Timothy had been interned. The tiger was there, crouching in a corner. So the grandfather went to see him and he found that he has become a full grown tiger with a magnificent striped coat, and he was crouching in a corner as usually the tiger do. "Hello, Timothy," said grandfather, and climbing the railing with ease, he put his arm through the bars of the cage. The tiger approached the bars and allowed grandfather to put both hands around his head. It means the tiger also missed him and he wanted grandfather to love him more. Grandfather stroked his Grandfather stroked the tiger's forehead and tickled his ears, and whenever he growled, smacked him across his mouth, which was his old way of keeping him quiet. So grandfather was having a good time with the tiger. Sometimes he used to tickle him, sometimes he used to smack him, and he was not afraid of the tiger. It licked grandfather's hands and only sprang away when a leopard in the next cage snapped at him. You can see that there is another cage in which a leopard is there. So the grandfather shooed the leopard away and the tiger returned to lick his hands. But every now and then the leopard would rush at the bars and he would slink back to his corner. It means the tiger didn't like the leopard. A number of people had gathered to watch the reunion when a keeper pushed his way through the crowd and asked grandfather what he was doing. "So, I am talking to Timothy," said grandfather. "Weren't you here when I gave him to the zoo 6 months ago?" So he told that this is my tiger and I gave to the zoo 6 months ago. He said it to the keeper. "I haven't been here very long," said the surprised keeper. "Please continue your conversation." but I have never been able to touch him myself. He is always bad tempered. He is telling that the tiger is not that friendly in the way he was dealing with him. So he said that, okay, you can continue your conversation. So grandfather said, why don't you put him somewhere else? Because he saw that he was not very much friendly with the leopard and it was not a good place to live there. So he told that leopard keeps frightening him. I will go and see the superintendent about it. So he thought that he will talk this matter about from the superintendent, and he will tell that the leopard keeps frightening him. So it is not good to keep him there. So grandfather went in search of the superintendent of the zoo, but found that he had gone home early. And so, after wandering about the zoo for a little while, he returned to Timothy's cage to say goodbye. It was beginning to get dark. So before leaving the zoo, he spent some more time with the tiger. He had been stroking and slapping Timothy for about 5 minutes when he found another keeper observing him with some alarm. Some keeper observed him and he was frightened. Grandfather recognized him as the keeper who had been there when Timothy had first come to the zoo. So it was the same keeper who was at that time when he came to give the tiger to the zoo. You remember me, said grandfather. Now why don't you transfer Timothy to another cage, away from this stupid leopard? So he told that you should transfer him to another cage. But sir, stammered the keeper, it is not your tiger. Now this was a surprise. The keeper said that, sir, it is actually not your tiger, but you are spending so much time with him, you are slapping him, putting your hands, but it is not safe. But grandfather didn't understand what the keeper is trying to say. He said, I know, said grandfather testily, means irritatively. I realize he is no longer mine, but you might at least take a suggestion for two from me. I remember your tiger very well, said the keeper. He died 2 months ago. But he said that, sir, I know that who was your tiger, but he died 2 months ago. But grandfather was very much surprised to listen to this. He said, died, exclaimed grandfather. Yes, sir, of pneumonia, replied the keeper. He said that, sir, actually it is not your tiger. Your tiger died 2 months ago due to pneumonia. The tiger was trapped in the hills only last month and he is very dangerous. The tiger with whom you were playing is actually trapped just last month and he is very dangerous. Now, grandfather could think of nothing to say. The tiger was still licking his arm with increasing relish. Grandfather took what seemed to him an age to withdraw his hand from the cage. So that sentence from the keeper made grandfather afraid, and now he just wanted to leave that place because he was in danger. With his face near the tiger, he mumbled, good night, Timothy, and giving the keeper a scornful look, walked briskly out of the zoo. So he moved fast because he knew that it is not his tiger, so it would be very dangerous for him to spend time with some unknown tiger. A very beautiful story written by Ruskin Bond.